Alrighty, and welcome back after a very, very long break to Hey, have you seen that film? I've been obviously very busy, haven't done this in a very long time, but I'm here and happy to be back. I've missed doing this, and hopefully I can bring some wonderful content. Today our film we're going to be talking about is Robin and the Seven Hoods. The cast consists of Frank Sinatra as Robbo, Dean Martin as Little John, Sammy Davis Jr. as Will, Bing Crosby as Alan Adele, and Peter Falk as Guy Gisborne, and Barbara Rush as Marion Stevens. Plot of the film: Big Jim, the head gangster of Chicago, is murdered on his birthday by fellow gangsters, organized by Guy Gisborne. He reconstructs how the gangsters will run. Primarily, everyone will join forces and pay him 50%. So rather than having this team and that team and you're running your own projects, we're all one big team now, and everyone pays me 50% of what they make, and I pay a small portion of that to the police to provide us protection, as he likes to say. Robbo comes in during this meeting of reconstruction, and he is not happy. He was not there at the party for Big Jim, but Big Jim was like a father to him. So Robbo does not join forces with Guy Gisborne and the other gangsters. Jim's daughter, Marion, comes along and asks Robbo to avenge her father for $50,000. She wants to get her revenge. They think that the sheriff is the man who did it. At least that's what Guy has told Robbo. And so he tells her that, but he refuses. He's not going to go out. He's not a gun for hire. He won't do it. Well, eventually, after a failed attempt, Robbo and his gang and Guy Gisborne and all the other gangsters on the same night go and destroy each other's casinos, bars, which the sheriff had promised Gisborne wasn't going to happen. So the sheriff has failed Gisborne. He has murdered. So Marion thinks, oh, Robbo, you did what I asked. And she tries to give him the $50,000. He says, no, that wasn't me. I'm not going to take your money. She still sends it on to him. And rather than return it, he sends it out to charities. He says, hey, give it to whoever you want. This backfires in a positive way for Robbo, because now he becomes this huge celebrity. The public love him. Everybody wants support from him. And Alan Adele comes along to help bring support to Robbo, Little John, Will, and to help them raise more money to share with the public, but also share the wealth for themselves. Once the public loves Robbo, it makes it much harder for Guy to enact his revenge and try to rid Robbo, because now Robbo is a hero in the eyes of Chicago. And that is the essential plot of Robin and the Seven Hoods. As usual, I don't want to spoil the ending or give anything else away. Now, this movie, to be perfectly honest, I was not that big of a fan of. I was hoping I would enjoy it more with the Rat Pack being in it and such. So before I get into more of my cons, let's talk about some of the pros of it. Frankly, this new movie does have a lot of fun musical numbers. I found myself singing a lot of them the next day. Well, particularly one. Some of the highlighted songs I have is Bang Bang, which is sung by Sammy Davis Jr., and it's his love of getting his gun off and killing people. Then we have Style, which is sung by Frank, Dean, and Bing, and it's about getting Bing into being more style, because he dresses kind of unstylishly. And finally, my favorite song probably in the whole movie was Mr. Booze. I'd seen this song beforehand, and this is the catchiest. It's the catchiest song from the movie. I still go around going, Mr. Booze, Mr. Booze, Mr. B-double-O-Z. Boom, 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 ba, ba, da, ba, ba. Anyways, that's about the extent of what I know. I know a little bit more here and there after listening to that. So, and that song is primarily sung by Bing, but the rest of the cast participates in that song. And again, those songs are fun. And there's a few other songs in there that are really good. You know, it's in terms of music, I enjoyed the movie. Watching the Rat Pack together, that's fun. To me, you know, these people are it's comfort, right? It's Dean Martin, it's Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr. These guys are infamous. And so watching them just be together, and just, not even necessarily them, but that's just the older films. I love old movies. So watching this, there's, I guess, a certain level of comfort in, hey, this is a classic kind of era film. It's enjoyable. It starts to turn more into the cons, is the length of the film. And I guess maybe not necessarily the length. The film's like 125 minutes, so it's just over 2 hours long, but it feels much longer than that. There are a few moments throughout the movie where you think it's about to end, and then it goes on. And then you think it's going to end again with this thing, and it goes on again and again, and you're kind of just wondering, when is it going to end? In fact, my wife did ask that question, how much longer do we have left of this movie? Because it was just dragging on, and it felt a lot longer. I compare it, I feel the same way about Australia, the movie with Hugh Jackman and Nicole Kidman. I felt like it ended several different times, but then it continued to go on and on and on, and it's one of the reasons I'm not crazy about that movie, because it just went overly long when you could have condensed it down. And I feel the same thing about Robin and the Seven Hoods. They could have really condensed it down, tightened the script up a little bit, and given us maybe more of a shorter but fun film. Because that was the other thing, I felt like the fun was lacking in this. I mean, I'm watching a movie with the Rat Pack. It should be fun, should be having a good time, but I feel like that was lacking. It was certainly there in moments of the film. I'm not going to say I didn't laugh at all, but I found myself just bored at times and kind of wondering, well, when's the next thing going to happen? And I feel like this movie, it takes the characters of Robin Hood, but it doesn't necessarily do anything with the Robin Hood story other than taking the characters. I feel like it would have been a much better film had they taken the story of Robin Hood, set it in this Prohibition era that it's set in, kept their songs in it, and just kind of given us more of a Robin Hood movie in a different feel with maybe some different twists and plot points, but kind of keep it the same. That was the other thing is with this movie going on really long, is it just had so many different plot pieces, and it would kind of introduce one, and then it would go back to another one, and then it would introduce one. It was like segments of a show, right? Like a TV show is what it more felt like at moments, but not a very engaging one, which again, disappointing to me. And ultimately the ending that they did go with, I just felt unsatisfied. It didn't leave me happy, the ending that was they filmed. I don't really know behind the scenes stories of who wrote this, all that, but it just felt like, oh, this might be good, that might be good, and ultimately, oh, it's the Rat Pack, they're all just hanging out. And I don't even feel like there was much of them just like hanging out. I feel like we could have had more scenes of them and more character focus. I don't really feel like they focused really particularly on any character. It was, I mean, if I had to pick a main character, I'd probably say Guy Gisborne, because he, I feel like, was in it a lot more, talking a lot more. Robbo would be here, and then suddenly we had Alan Adaro, and then Little John. There was just all these people who did different things, but none of it was really a focus. And I definitely would not say that Robbo was the focus of the film, even though, I mean, this is supposed to be the story of Robin Hood, with Frank Sinatra being Robin Hood as Robbo. So I feel like this had more potential to be a really great movie, and instead we're left with just a few fun musical numbers and not much else that's noteworthy to talk about, which is really a shame, because I feel like the Rat Pack kind of deserved more. They're collaborating. We should talk about it more. Like, this is exciting, and maybe they did better on stage than they did in film, in my personal opinion. Not separately. I've watched a lot of their films, and I think that's another problem for me. Is I feel that Frank Sinatra, I've seen him in more serious roles, and I've seen him in more like light-hearted roles, like his characters in Gene Kelly, when he teams up with Gene Kelly. I find him more believable and more fun when he's teamed up with such as like Gene Kelly, and he's more charming. Whereas when he's trying to play a tough guy, it doesn't always play off well for me. And maybe that's because in his appearances, I saw him first in more of those just young, naive, fun characters, like On the Town, Anchors Away, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I'm not going to say he does serious bad. I think he does a really great job. He's in an episode of Magnum PI, and I feel like he does a wonderful job. There's so much Tom Selleck on here, so oddly enough, I couldn't jump back into the show without, I guess, mentioning Tom Selleck. But there is a really good episode of Magnum PI where he's a very compelling character with a very serious backstory. And I feel like he played that well, so I think he can play it well. I just don't think the way he played Robbo was believable, that Frank Sinatra was this tough gangster. That's just my opinions of the movie, though, and I'd love to hear yours. I'm sure some of you love this movie. Some of you might not even enjoy the musical numbers. Please leave your comments down below. I'm happy to be back and filming episodes and hopefully to be bringing you more content. I'm in the process of working on another thing that I'm really excited about, and once I get that kind of rolling, I'll talk about it more. But for now, hopefully you enjoy this episode. Take care, and that's a wrap.